This is Colin Dixon with Endscreen Media, and I'm here with Simon Frost from Ericsson, Head of TV Marketing. And of course, the big news this week, yesterday in fact, was that Ericsson will be purchasing Mediaroom from Microsoft. So before we actually jump into that, why don't we talk about what Ericsson is currently doing in the TV space? You're obviously doing an awful lot. One big focus for you is multi-screen TV. So talk a little bit about what you're doing with multi-screen.
Okay, yeah. So multi-screen is or TV anywhere is a big strategy for most operators. Ericsson also has this thing called Consumer Lab, so we really look into our consumer studies, and it clearly, we use that to see what do the consumers want, where are we going, and we use that to advise our customers, the service providers particularly, and really look at the roadmap for the plans that we need in the product as well. So we see clearly that the operators want to be able to leverage and embrace all the screens that the consumers own in the home. It's a big challenge to unify those in a very seamless, logical way.
Yep.
And that service is getting increasingly more complex as well. So, just last year, the Consumer Lab study showed just how quickly the rise of social was coming along, and how really we have to then build in the social cues into the fabric of actually the experience itself. So that platform is actually all about integration, all about unification of screens, unification of that experience, and we're driving that with the multi-screen TV solution that we have, deployed with people like Chunghwa Telecom in Taiwan.
I will say it has been a strong theme so far at this show. Multi-screen is absolutely key. I mean, you can tell from the name of my company, I'm absolutely there with multi-screen, and I completely believe that that's the way all operators certainly need to go in the near future, actually anybody delivering content. But you haven't just stopped at multi-screen delivery, you also have media delivery network. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah, so multi-screen, the multi-screen TV solution, if you like, is about the service layer really. I like to think of it more as as I said, unifying the client devices, unifying the consumer experience, the branded consumer experience for the operator. So it's about what is it like to consume the media and interact with it. But of course, the big challenge then is delivery. So how do you really efficiently deliver that video? And we've got a big couple of threads within that. So of course, we've been in this business for 20 years on the compression side. So high efficiency video coding, we announced the world's first mobile encoder platform for that at IBC last year. And of course, one of the latest ones is our brand new operator CDN solution, which is the media delivery network. So that is about enabling the operator, the ISP, whoever that is, that's providing data services to the consumer, to the home, to accelerate a lot of the over-the-top content that's coming for efficiency, so cache that content, move that closer to the consumer, actually enhance their experience, but maybe also enable them with some opportunities for bidirectional business models to get closer to the content industry, to get closer to some of this premium content, and accelerate that for, in a paid way, in a monetized way, because, ultimately consumers want a high-quality video experience wherever they are, and they look to their local ISP, their local bandwidth provider to give them that. So
to deliver that, but it's not just on broadband, right? We're talking LTE as well.
Yes, so it's this would be basically any IP network, any unmanaged IP network. So another technology, another addition to that, of course, LTE is rising incredibly quickly in terms of rollouts and deployments. At Mobile World Congress, we announced the big solution for something called LTE broadcast. So that's finally bringing multicast to the mix in a cellular network. So another tool in the toolbox for the wireless operator in this instance to not just be able to deliver unicast services, so on-demand types of content, but the analogy was, or the a good example was, so at CES there was an announcement by Verizon that they were leveraging this technology through Ericsson, partnering with the NFL to offer in-stadia experiences where you might develop a very rich app with multi-camera angles, and you can guarantee, so Verizon can now guarantee to the NFL to deliver high-quality video to tens or hundreds of thousands of people. Take NASCAR, like 150,000 people around the NASCAR event. If you can guarantee that, that symbiotic relationship with the content owner means the content owner can build a better relationship for the consumer, better experience, and the cellular provider can use that technology to guarantee that quality of experience. So it's another one of our additions in making networks video efficient and video centric.
Experience and enhancing experience seems to be a definite theme that I've noticed, certainly around the industry just recently, but in particular at this show. So it's great to hear that you're involved front and center there, lots of activity. Now, we should move on to the meat.
Yes.
We've seen how your current portfolio pans out. How does Mediaroom fit into that portfolio? How do you see it slotting in there and helping out with the overall drive that you're focused on?
Okay. Well, Mediaroom fits very much into that, the service creation, if you like, of the TV service itself. Mediaroom predominantly has been focused in the home, really. It is the global #1 IP video delivery platform there is. And if you look at any network type, any delivery network of the future or any service of the future is going to have to embrace IP video delivery somewhere in that. So if you're a satellite provider or a terrestrial provider, you're using an RF network perhaps, like cable guys do as well. But you're going to have to meld that with IP for a hybrid network, or there are some pure IP networks like the telco ones, like the wireless ones. So what this brings to Ericsson is the #1 platform with the greatest experiences with some of the most challenging operators and scale. We're talking well over 11 million subscribers, 22 million set-top boxes, over 44 customers. That's a lot of skills and experience with well over 400 employees that will come to Ericsson, bring that skill, and really add that to our multi-screen TV solution, which has been very much focused on the mobility aspects of TV Anywhere, all those other types of screens. So it's actually very complementary. It's the worldwide #1 IPV video platform for the home, really meets a lot of the investment and technology and new development we've been doing, particularly for those other screens, and particularly for away from the home. So very complementary mix for adding those two together.
And it really does seem that there's a lot of complementary there. Mediaroom 2.0 was released, I think, about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now. It was really targeted at multi-screen, but it's really not found a home in any of the major operators. They're still on the previous release. So it seems like this is an area that this solution has really struggled with. So it does seem like it's a great pairing with your multi-screen solution.
I believe so, yes. I think they are very complementary. And that's a portfolio capability level. I think the other aspect that I think is incredibly strong is, of course, we now have that much stronger portfolio, but we're adding it to well over 100,000 plus people-sized company in 180 countries. We are a massive services organization that can provide the consulting, the integration, and even the managed services. So we even, if you look at Telefonica, we're managing their platform for them that's based actually on Mediaroom. So there's a lot of other options we can bring to the mix that, Microsoft and Mediaroom alone didn't have. So, it's adding that services capability as well, which is a key part.
So that was one thing I did want to ask you, and you've already confirmed it. I mean, are you already in many of the customers for Mediaroom? Are they also your customers as well?
Short answer, I guess, is yes, but not necessarily in the TV portfolio area, of course. I mean, Ericsson's #1 committed customer base is the telcos. So, it's an area where we will always protect, always defend, and always look to provide the greatest level of solution and capability to. And clearly that big focus is mainly around cellular networks and wireless networks. So, of course, we have an incredibly strong relationship with, you could say, all of the customers of Mediaroom perhaps already in that way. Now, of course, before closing, which is 3 to 6 months, there's very strict rules about engagement and how that will work. And of course, there's other partners in there as well in terms of having not necessarily direct relationships with Mediaroom, but some third-party relationships that are managed by others, other integrators as well. So, that process will all be very respectful of those touch points and those interface points.
And I would imagine, though, that amongst the customer base, they're probably a little cautious, but cautiously positive about this, because, I mean, it has to be said that Microsoft, for whatever reason, well, it clearly, Mediaroom is not core to Microsoft's direct thrust. Certainly in the video area, they're putting a lot of focus on Xbox, which is, I guess, kind of competitive with some of the things that Mediaroom customers are doing. They're bringing a lot of video in through Xbox right now. And it seemed like Mediaroom wasn't getting the love that it once was getting. So I expect that, are you hearing some positive noises from potential new customers existing customers who have this platform?
I think it's very early days. I mean, clearly we are getting we've had an awful lot of, I would say, analysts and media positive reaction to the news. I think we are getting positive customer news as it breaking yesterday. Obviously, we have limited discussions with some of those very, very key customers. So yeah, I think they see it as a very incredibly positive step. As I said, we're incredibly committed to that particular customer base and providing them with the solutions and the features and the functions they need to really accelerate and drive their business. So, we are very much committed to the service provider as well as the content owners of providing that experience, perhaps more so than as you say, the Microsoft perhaps focus of shifting more towards enabling the consumer directly with client devices. So, we're in the business of providing the tools, the technologies, and the services that enable the operators and the content owners to win in the new era of TV.
Well, I suspect that the customer base is probably very happy to hear it, not least of which because they really do need these multi-screen solutions. And one of the biggest problems, I think, with any operator today that's trying to roll out multi-screen is they have silos, which means they have one solution for their mobile, they have one solution for their broadband, and another solution for their TV.
Absolutely.
And these things don't share. And hopefully that's one of the things that you can help bring together and make a unified network.
Definitely. I mean, it was a big focus for the multi-screen TV solution. It was a next-gen platform. We came to the market a little later than some of the others, and that's, Mediaroom is the global #1 for good reason. So, yeah, I think we see, and the Tsinghua case, telecom case, was a good example of an operator really looking at the components, the technologies, the investments they have, and really seeing if we really firmly believe the consumer is going to continue to evolve so quickly and expect so much from these, their devices, their screens, you really do need one unified platform that's going to allow that to evolve ever so quickly. All these different types of service features, pause on one device, play on another device, buy our VOD catalog library when I'm on the bus and know I can come home and play it. The awareness of connection in the back end is going to have to be so tight and get so much more integrated in the future. The silo technologies is just continued investments to keep gluing that together. And we've been helping a lot of operators with that glue, and it's, we see that tide changing of a realization that it's platform 2.0 time, pretty much.
Well, this is a great announcement, and I'm really looking forward to hearing much more about it as you can speak it, so I hope you come back and speak with us again.
Will do.
Simon, I want to thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, Colin.
And this has been Colin Dixon.